At 69, she deleted her daughter's number from her phone. Not because she stopped loving her, not because there was some dramatic fight. She deleted it because every time the phone lit up, it came with the same message dressed in different words. You shouldn't be alone. The last text said, Mom, I met someone perfect for you. He's 67, widower, financially stable. Just coffee. She stared at it for a long time and didn't respond. 7 years earlier, she would have said yes. In fact, she did say yes once. And that decision nearly cost her the quiet life she had fought hard to build after losing her husband. Her husband died when she was 57. Cancer. 6 months from diagnosis to goodbye. There is nothing poetic about those 6 months. There is paperwork, hospital smells, exhaustion, and the slow realization that your future is being rewritten without your consent. The first couple of years after he passed were brutally quiet. The house felt larger than it ever had. Sundays were the hardest. They used to cook breakfast together, sit with the newspaper, talk about nothing important. Without him, Sundays stretched long and grey. But slowly, something shifted. Not happiness, not excitement, just rhythm. She started volunteering at the local library twice a week, joined a quilting group at church, learned how to fix small things around the house instead of waiting for someone else to do it. She built routines. She learned the timing of her own energy. Morning was good. Afternoon, she needed quiet. Evenings were for reading or watching whatever she wanted without explaining her choices. It wasn't the life she had planned, but it was hers. Her daughter didn't see it that way. Mum, you can't spend every weekend alone, she said one afternoon over coffee. That's not healthy. Her friends said the same thing in softer voices. You're still young. You deserve companionship. You shouldn't give up. After hearing it enough times, she started to doubt herself. Maybe they were right. Maybe choosing solitude meant she was afraid. So when a friend introduced her to a widower around her age, she agreed to meet him. At first, it felt easy. Dinners twice a week, early bird specials, walks when her knee wasn't bothering her. He was kind. He called regularly. He said he admired her independence. But slowly, the calls became constant. Morning check-ins, lunch check-ins, evening conversations that stretched past the time she normally went to bed. If she didn't answer right away, he'd call again, then text. Where are you? I was worried. One Wednesday, she was at her quilting group. Her phone buzzed repeatedly in her purse. She ignored it. When she returned the call 2 hours later, he was upset. I didn't know where you were. She had told him she had quilting every Wednesday. Still, she felt guilty, as if spending 2 uninterrupted hours with friends required an explanation. Weekends changed too. He wanted plans, outings, visits, restaurants, hardware stores, social obligations. If she said she wanted a quiet Saturday at home, he looked disappointed. Don't you want to see me? She started saying yes when she wanted to say no. Not because he was cruel. He wasn't. But because she felt she should be grateful. At 62, with a boyfriend, people assumed she was lucky. So when she felt tired or overwhelmed or simply in need of silence, she told herself not to be difficult. Then she noticed something that unsettled her. Every time his name appeared on her phone, her body tightened. Not excitement, not warmth, tension. One night he called close to 11 p.m. She was already in bed reading. She answered out of obligation. He talked about his day, about minor frustrations, about a plumbing issue. By the time they hung up, it was past midnight. She sat there in the dark, exhausted in a way that had nothing to do with the hour. Around that time, a friend invited her to an antique market. She wanted to go. Those trips were peaceful. Wandering quietly, no rush, no schedule. But she knew if she went, he would want to join. And if he joined, it would no longer be peaceful. So she declined the invitation. That was the moment something became clear. Her life no longer felt like her own. It wasn't just about time, it was about energy. At 62, she had limits. By mid-afternoon, she needed rest. Long evenings out drained her. She wasn't 40 anymore, and she didn't want to pretend to be. 8 months in, he suggested they move in together. He talked about practicality, finances, waking up together every morning. It sounded reasonable, sensible, but when she went home that night and sat in her living room, the same room where she had lived for over 3 decades, she felt something close to panic. Sharing the space meant sharing the schedule, sharing the quiet mornings, sharing the porch, where she drank her coffee in silence. She realized she would be negotiating every day. She ended the relationship the following week. He was hurt, angry, accused her of wasting his time. Some friends told her she was making a mistake. Her daughter was disappointed. For a few weeks, she questioned herself. Then, one Saturday morning, she woke up and asked, "What do I want to do today?" There was no one else's expectation to manage. She went to the antique market. She returned fully to her quilting group. She stopped checking her phone constantly. She went to bed when she was tired. She watched what she wanted. She woke up without bracing herself for someone else's needs. She realized something that took years to understand. There is a difference between being alone and being at peace. With him, she wasn't alone, but she wasn't at peace either. 7 years have passed since that relationship. She hasn't dated since. Not because she is bitter, not because she hates men, but because she understands her own limits now. She didn't get into that relationship because she was lonely. She did it because she was afraid. Afraid of being judged. Afraid of being the only single woman in her circle. Afraid of what it said about her. Now she knows something simple and powerful. At this age, peace is not a luxury. It is survival. The emotional labor, the constant compromise, the guilt for needing space. Her body could no longer afford it. Do holidays still bring a pang sometimes? Of course. Does she occasionally see couples holding hands and wonder what that feels like? Yes. But those moments pass. The calm of her own home remains. She wakes up every morning, makes her coffee exactly the way she likes it, steps into her garden or reads a book, and she does not have to explain herself to anyone. Her daughter eventually stopped pushing. Last Thanksgiving, she said quietly, "Mum, you seem happier." She is, not because she found someone, but because she stopped abandoning herself. If you are in a relationship that drains you, even at 60 or 70, you are allowed to leave. And if you are alone and people are telling you to fix it, you are allowed to say no. There is nothing wrong with wanting companionship, but there is also nothing wrong with protecting your peace. You get one life, one stretch of years where your energy becomes more precious than ever. Don't trade it away because someone else is uncomfortable with your independence. If this story sounds familiar, I'd really like to hear from you. Are you happier alone, or are you navigating something similar right now? Thank you for being here and listening. These conversations matter more than we say out loud. And if this resonated with you, share your experience below. Someone else might be reading and feeling less alone because of it.